What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. It's me, Monty, and today we're doing another trailer reaction, this time to the brand new trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And I had to reach into the MontyVerse to bring out a special guest for this trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, Zack is joining me today for this trailer reaction. What's up, Zack?
I'm back again. You
You're
can't
back.
get rid of me. You know, you brought me back for the Bad Batch reaction, and now I'm here for good. All right.
One would say you're back like Miles Morales is back in Across the Spider-Verse. Now, I wanted to bring you here because, like, when it comes to superhero movies, me and you disagree about a lot of them most of the time. But one that we are wholeheartedly agree on is Into the Spider-Verse. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. And why don't you tell me a little bit about your love of that movie?
Yeah, so like it's actually twofold for me. So comic book movies in general, I like them well enough, you know, like I can watch them and enjoy them, but they're not really my bag. I don't love them by any means. And then the other aspect of this is animated movies. I don't really care for animated movies at all. I don't watch many of them because I frankly don't enjoy them. But Into the Spider-Verse is like, I love that movie. It is my favorite animated movie of all time. It is my favorite comic book movie of all time. I don't know. It just hits on all facets. So, you know, I'm pretty amped for this, man.
All right, dude. You know what? We'll talk about that movie and this movie after, but let's just jump right into the trailer. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it in 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Trailer.
You got the classic style still.
I love that. I love that pop art comic book style.
I know, dude. It's so good.
New York, baby.
I can hear you being quiet, Mom.
I hope I didn't ice your game, man.
No one my age says those words in that order.
You know?
It's just hard to see my little man not being my little boy all the time.
Yeah.
You know, for years I've been taking care of this little boy.
Stan the man.
Making sure he is loved.
Yeah.
That he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
So good.
Not bad, kid.
And what I worry about most
I love you, Miles.
is they won't look out for you like us.
Uh-oh.
Miles! Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from.
Whoa! Spider Cop! Oh, paper bag Spider-Man!
And he never doubts that
Oh,
he is
they're hanging
loved.
upside down.
Peter B is back, baby! Oh, Jessica Drew!
Whoa.
He never lets
I don't know who that is.
Spider-Woman.
tell him that he doesn't
Miguel
belong
O'Hare.
there.
Yo.
That's wild.
You gotta promise, Miles.
I promise.
What the hell?
Who do you think you are? Really?
Spider-Man
I
Unlimited!
can't tell. Are they chasing him or are they
supposed to be the
on his
good
team? I can't
guys.
tell.
We are.
I think they're chasing him. Yeah, okay. yeah, we're definitely chasing him.
Oh, wow. There's so many
right.
Spider-Men in this movie. Spider people. So many spiders.
Spider folks.
So many spiders in this movie. Wow. That was super cool. Surprisingly, not as much. Like, it's pretty much... Listen, it's what was so great about the first movie. It's this really intimate character moment between Miles and his mom. Kind of what I'm assuming is going to be the theme of this movie. Like, the first movie was Spider-Man. It was what it is to be Spider-Man. But I guess, like, that scene's telling us, like, this movie's about growing up. And that's really what I wanted from this movie. Like, Miles becoming his own person. And then we jump right into this chaotic multiverse adventure. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that I saw as a comic book fan, and I'm gonna go back and skim. But Zach, why don't as just a lover of movies and as a lover of the first movie, why don't you tell me your thoughts on the trailer?
I thought the monologue at the beginning is real good, and like you say, it sort of clues us into sort of what we're going to expect with this movie. A little bit more of a coming of age story for Miles, it seems like. But like plot wise, I don't know that it really gives us much. Like we get sort of a thematic understanding of probably what we're in for, but other than the fact that we're going to be in sort of some sort of multiverse situation here, and that there's going to be a lot of spider folks, it sure looked like a lot of them were not on his team there.
No.
So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out, because obviously in the first one, you know, all the spider folks are on the same team. They're working together. So I'm curious to see what's going on in this one and why some of them are not so friendly.
Yeah, it's really cool. The first thing I just want to touch on is just I really like how the moment we have in this trailer is Miles and his mom. I feel like Rio Morales got the short end of the stick in the first movie. There was a lot of stuff with Jefferson in the Miles' dad. So between Miles and his father in the first movie. And I feel like we know that she was a good mother, but I feel like that connection wasn't there. So I'm really glad that they're upping her screen time in this movie, even if it's just that one scene. I think it's a very great scene to have. Yeah, there are a couple of reasons why I could think it's crazy, because we didn't even see the antagonist of this film, which is the Spot, which is the character called the Spot from Spider-Man comics. And he has the ability to travel between dimensions with the spots on his body. He can open up portals, basically. But yeah, it really looks like, to me anyway, this movie, more than the first one, is drawing a lot of inspiration from the Spider-Verse comic series. It's taking inspiration from that, but getting rid of all the stuff that was really weird and didn't work. Like, the villains were like vampires that were killing the spider totems throughout the multiverse. I think this one's going to be a little bit more simplistic, but it looks like there's a bunch of spider people that looks to be protecting the different gateways to the Spider-Man home universes. In the comics, it's called the Web of Life and Destiny. And it looks like they're being led by Miguel O'Hare, who's Spider-Man 2099. He's the guy in the blue and, like, the really navy blue red suit, voiced by Oscar Isaac, who was at the end of the first movie. And yeah, it looks like him and Miles aren't going to get along. It looks like something's going to happen that's really going to tick him off. But there's, just so that I can point it out, just so that I can bang this out really quick. I'm seeing a ton of, there's so many Spider-Man in here, I don't think I'm going to be able to name them all, but I see the paper bag Spider-Man from the comics. I see it looks like Mary Jane and May, I believe it is, from the Vow Spider-Man comic. I see Spider-Cop. I see what looks like a version of the Scarlet Spider. I see Spider-Man Unlimited. I see Spider-Man from the PlayStation game. I see a different version of Miles that looks like the comic book Miles Morales. I see I'm getting overwhelmed by
I'm just clicking through, and there's a ton of them.
There's so many. There's Spider Wolf, Spider Wolf Man. That's it. Spider Wolf Man. Spider Monkey. Yeah, guys, I'm not.
There's also like there's like some type of bird creature partway through the trailer.
That I believe is going to be a vulture.
Who that is?
That's going to be a version of the Vulture. I think like the last movie gave us skewed versions of the Kingpin and of Green Goblin and a female Dr. Octopus. I think this movie's also going to give us that. Which makes me think like there is this video game called Spider-Man Edge of Time where the villain of the movie ends up being a Peter Parker from the future. So I'm wondering, and Miguel O'Hara is the Dudo and protagonist of that game, the Deuteragonist, I guess. And I wonder if this movie is going to borrow from that, and maybe the Spot is an older version of Miles, or he works for Miles, and maybe Miles is responsible for something that happens in the future, and Miguel doesn't really like him because of that. And when Spider-Gwen brings Miles to this Hall of Justice of Spider-Man, this spider police force, he's like, no, I don't like this guy. We need to get him out of here. or something like. I'm sure it's something like that. This is really to me. This feels more like a teaser trailer than it's called an official trailer, but definitely more of a teaser.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Like I kind of mentioned, there's not really anything, for somebody like me. For you, there's kind of a lot there because you recognize most of the comic book stuff. But for me, as just somebody coming to it, not really understanding the characters, there's not much of the story, I don't think, for me to sort of grasp onto. So yeah, definitely feels much more like a teaser on my end for sure.
Yeah, it's just there's so many different directions they can go with this. It's a multiversal story. They have a lot of freedom. This is not an MCU like property. They don't have to abide by guidelines and have to worry about future projects. Like, we could see Spider-Man die in this, like they do in the Spider-Verse comic. This could be a really dark movie. I know that we see, as I'm skimming through it, I know we see like Miguel looking at a picture of what appears to be his daughter. I don't remember him having a daughter in the comics, but I could be wrong. Someone correct me in the comments. But I assume we're going to get a tragic Spider-Man backstory there. Maybe Miles is involved with that somehow. I don't know. But I think this movie, more so than anything, is going to kind of... It's going to be the typical, like, when the hero meets other heroes, they fight at first. And we know this is going to be a two-parter, so I'm assuming that they're all against Miles in this movie, and then the third movie, they all kind of team up. But it is good to see Peter B. Parker back. I wasn't sure he was coming back because, as far as I know, they weren't really saying if Jake Johnson was coming back. And to see him in this trailer, like, I really am excited because he ended up being one of my favorite characters from the first movie. Yeah, his version of Peter Parker was really cool. I don't know if it was just me, but it looked like he was wearing, and I'm trying to go back to where he first shows up, and it looks like, besides a fetching pink robe, yes, he has a baby, what are those things called? A baby knapsack? Like a baby, those things that you wear on your, that you hold a baby in. He has one of those on, like,
as somebody who famously doesn't have any babies, not sure.
Bjorn, right? Baby
okay.
Bjorn, yeah. So I'm assuming we know at the end of the movie, Miles inspired him to kind of get back out there and put himself back out there. So it looks like he got back with Mary Jane, and they're starting a family. So that's pretty cool. Good for Pete. We have Jessica Drew, played by Issa Rae. She was the woman on the motorcycle in the red and black. And I have this beautiful shot of her from the trailer pulled up as I'm skimming through. And it does appear that she has a pregnancy belly. So she is pregnant, which is really cool because Jessica Drew in the comics does have a comic series about her being a pregnant superhero. So it's going to be really interesting to see that character introduced as well. Issa Rae's fantastic. Yeah, not really. Besides, like, Easter eggs, like, we can talk about Easter eggs, like, until the cows come home with this trailer, but besides that, yeah, not really much. Like, I'm so curious as to why the Spider-Men are chasing after Miles. I really want to know how the Spot factors into all of this. Now that I think about it, I don't think the Spot can be an older Miles because he's voiced by Jason Schwartzman, unless he's using some sort of voice box or something. But I'm really curious. I'm really curious why Miguel O'Hare is so aggressively attacking Miles. Miguel is a more aggressive version of Spider-Man from the future. His powers are a little bit more aggressive. He, instead of like having fibers or hairs that help him cling to walls, he has talons.
Oh yeah, we kind of see those there. Yes. We get a close up on the hands, and we kind of see the claws popping out there.
Yeah, he has talons. So he's more of he's a snarky, really sarcastic, really hot-headed character. Half Mexican, half Irish, I believe. So he also is from a dual cultural background like Miles. So that's really cool. I like the diversity we're getting. I like the different characters. But yeah, I mean, pretty much, I have more questions than I have answers from this trailer. But I love that the animation style's back. I love that we're doing the pop animation again. As someone who grew up reading really old school, like 80s and 70s comic books, well, even comic books from the 60s. I really like that this particular film series, the animation style goes from like modern computer generated animation to kind of blending in that 60s style pop art, and then it's a little homage to every decade of animation. This is like, for animation fans, this is a really, really great franchise, and this trailer shows they're putting a lot more effort into it this time.
Yeah, and I would say even for non-animation fans like myself, this is a way to bring people like me in. Is with I don't know, something about this animation really appeals to me when most others don't. So
yeah, you know what I kind of really want from this movie that we didn't get in the first one. Like the first one, we really stayed in Miles' home universe. I really want to explore the different universes of the Spider people, because I really wanted to see the universe where Gwen came from. I would love to like be in the noir universe with Spider-Man Noir. We got brief moments of that, but I would love to spend like a few minutes in each to kind of. That would be such a great way for the animators to kind of showcase different animation styles and make it not the exact same thing as the first one, to show like, oh, we're in black and white noir. Oh, we're Spider-Gwen's universe could be something completely different. It could be like maybe more neon, and Nueva York, where Miguel O'Hare is from, could be very futuristic in the style of like Blade Runner, or maybe even something similar to Dune, which you're a big fan of. Maybe there could be sandworms or something.
I mean, speaking of, you mentioned that Oscar Isaac was one of the voices in this. Immediately, I was like, well, basically all my favorite movies have Oscar Isaac in them. So
at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
So Oscar Isaac is just hitting home runs for you lately. The only really, I mean, I'm looking at the cast list now. The only really two major characters and actors we didn't see were Jason Schwartzman as the Spot and Daniel Kaluuya as Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown. He wasn't in here, which is essentially just a Spider-Man from who's punk rock, which is really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of things to say about the plot. If we want it, like I would have to make a whole 15 to 20 minute video just on theories I have from watching this trailer alone, and how many different comic book stories they could tie into in regards to the Spider-Verse. But really, what I'm hoping for is we get a fun multiversal adventure.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point too about sort of how fun it would be to start visiting some of the other, home universes, because we got to see those characters, and that was fun enough in its own right. But I think seeing those universes would sort of add another level of depth to sort of what we've gotten already and what we could get in the future. So
yeah, because I remember during like the early talks of this movie that they said that Spider-Man India was going to be here. The Japanese Spider-Man from the 1978 television series is going to be in here. So I'd love to like have montages of like Miles and Gwen kind of like on the run from the other spiders, like going into these universes and interacting with the different spiders. So that's something that I really want. That's on the wish list for this movie. But so far, so good. I think we're looking good so far. Zach, anything else you want to touch on about the trailer?
No, I mean, like I said, I think we covered it all. There's not a ton there story-wise for me to grasp onto, but it looks great. And I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. Zach, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at hi, my name is Zack M.
Fair enough. And you guys can find me here on the MontyVerse, on all the socials at the MontyVerse. If you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content, because we have tons of videos coming out all the time on a bunch of different stuff. So check them out. And until next time, guys, stay versed.